We have been discussing 10 times as much and 1/10 of. I've explained to the students that 10 times mean we must multiply the number by 10. The number will increase. And the pattern for multiplying by tens is add a 0 to the end of the number. One-tenth of means we must divide the number by 10. The number will decrease. And the pattern for dividing by 10 is removing a 0 from the end of the number. So we take away a 0. So let's practice. Let's say our number is 4,000. If I want to do 4,000 to figure out what number is 10 times 4,000, I would write 4,000 times 10. Okay, every number, every digit that is not a 0, I would need to underline. I'm going to highlight it to help it stand out more. So what is 4 times 1? 4 times 1 equals 4. Now, all I have to do is count my zeros and add them to my answer. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I tell them every 3 numbers starting at the ones place is where you put a comma. So 1, 2, 3, comma. 40,000 is 10 times as much as 4,000. Let's try to take 4,000 and figure out what's 1/10 of 4,000. So I know I have to write a division problem. 4,000 divided by 10. When we're dividing by 10, we're taking away a 0. So the number 4,000, I'm going to remove a 0. What is remaining is our answer. So 400 is remaining. So 4,000 divided by 10 is 400. Let's try 1,200. 1,200, to find out what number is 10 times 1,200, I write 1,200 times 10 equals something. Again, all my digits that are not zeros, I underline, I'm going to highlight them. So what is 1 times 12? 1 times 12 is 12. So I write my 12. Now all I have to do is count my zeros and add them to the 12. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Starting from my ones place, every 3 numbers, put a comma. 1, 2, 3, comma. So 12,000 is 10 times as much as 1,200. Now to figure out what 1/10 of 12,000 is, I have to write my division problem. 1,200 divided by 10 equals something. I know when I'm dividing by 10, my rule is I have to take away a 0. So whatever is remaining is my answer. I have 120 remaining. So 120 is 1/10 of 1,200. They mainly understand that. The problem comes in when we're having a statement. So for example, 4,200 is 10 times as much as blank. So I tell them is means equal. This part, 10 times as much as blank, is my multiplication problem. I know I'm multiplying because it tells me right here 10 times. So I need to take something and multiply it times 10 and make it equal to 4,200. So blank times 10 is equal to 4,200. 4,200. Now I have to figure out what can I multiply 1 times to get 42. Well, 42 times 1 is 42. So I know I can write my 42. Now look, I have 2 zeros. I have 1 0 here. So I know one of my zeros from my answer came from this 10. So I can cross it out. I only have 1 0 remaining. So that 0 must go with my 42. So 420 times 10 equals 4,200. To make sure that I'm correct, I double check myself. I work the problem out. 420 times 10. We're trying to see, does it really equal 4,200? So all my digits that are not 0, 42 times 1 equals 42. Then I count my zeros. 1, 2, 1, 2. Every 3 digits from the ones place, put a comma. 1, 2, 3, put my comma. So since these two match, 420 is my answer. Sometimes we'll have when we have to divide. So we'll do an example. Let me scoot this up. 800 is 1/10 of blank. So again, is means equal. So my division sentence, when I write it, something divided by 10 is equal to 800. So put my blank divided by 10 equals 800. I tell them when you're dividing, your largest number has to be at the front. So this is my largest number. Meaning whatever number goes here has to be greater than 10 and it has to be greater than 800. When we are dividing, we must always take away a 0. So to get from this number to this number, I know that I took away a 0. So to solve this, we must do the opposite of taking away a 0. We must take our answer and add a 0 to it. So my answer is 800. So I take my 800, I put it back. If I took a 0 away to get here, to go backwards, I have to do the opposite of subtraction, which is addition. So I put my 0 back. So 8,000 divided by 10 is 800. Again, we have to check our work. So to the side, 8,000 divided by 10. I'm trying to see, when I take away my 0, will I get 800? So my rule for dividing by 10, I take away my 0. Whatever's left is my answer, 800. So this matches this, so my answer is correct. 8,000 is greater than 10. 8,000 is greater than 800. With this one, it's mainly they're struggling with remembering to go backwards and they have to add their 0. So that's why I'm writing, if to go from here to here, I took away a 0. So I have to go backwards. So I have to put my 0 back. Well, if they work it out to the side, once they have this number sentence, they'll be able to double check and see if they are correct.